All right, good evening. Welcome to the Saline County Planning and Zoning Commission meeting tonight, April 1st. First, I'd like to welcome our new staff and interim staff, I guess is the best way to describe it.
My name is Tim Hamilton, for those of you who don't know me already. I'm currently staff for Saline County, and I work also for Dickinson County as well. So I come back and forth.
Dual role then. Okay, well, welcome. And also welcome to new staff. Other member?
And I'm Kathleen Malone Crouch. I've transferred over from the Emergency Management Department and am actually doing a dual role.
Okay. Seeing lots of that lately. Thank you. All right, we'll begin with item 1, consent agenda. Approval of the agenda for tonight, April 1st. Any discussion?
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the consent agenda as printed.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Item B, approval of the minutes for the October 1st, 2018 meeting. Any discussion over those minutes?
I move that we approve item B.
Second. It's been moved and seconded that we approve item B, the minutes for October 1st. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Item 2, application SE 19-101. We'll turn it over to staff for an overview.
This is a request for approval of a subdivision exception to allow for the conveyance of 18.08 acres of land for the residential structure. The remaining 50 acres would be deed restricted. It is located at the northeast corner of Niles, Road. The applicant is Keith Jungle. And the applicant, as I said, was Keith Jungle. Surrounding properties are all ag zone with agricultural use. Based on staff findings, staff is recommending approval. This particular subdivision exception does meet these requirements as set out in the subdivision regulations for such exception. The conditions that would be put on this would be a declaration of restriction showing the remaining 50 acres of the land to be used for agricultural use only. Prior to approval of the subdivision, the declaration of restriction must be filed with the register of deeds along with the completed survey, which has been completed of the 18.08 acres. Any changes of the language of the Saline County Declaration of Restrictions will be reviewed and approved by Saline County Council. Property owner may contact utility companies for any easement locations or setback requirements from those easements. With that, I will turn it over to
Okay. Any questions for staff?
Yes, staff, I have a question. Tim, historically, we've had a 80-acre minimum on preservation, and I've noticed that this one's only 50.8.
That would be for the full 80 acres. If there is a existing secondary parcel that is less than 80, typically that will be allowed one split.
Right. And so we're splitting out 18 on this one, huh?
Then they would not be able to do more.
Okay. Any other questions from the commission? Okay, would the applicant approach and
Keith Jungle. So,
yeah, just please state your name and address and then.
Keith Jungle. I live at 2005 Norton Street now in Salina. I bought a house in Salina, so that's why I want to sell the house out in the country.
Okay. Any questions of the applicant from the commission? Okay. Seeing none, thank you, Mr. Jungle.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll bring it back to the commission. Any discussion?
I notice one of the emails back, Mr. Urban made a comment. Would that be something that we would need to put on there, or would that be something that could be handled at a later time, or?
You mean the wastewater system?
Yeah.
I think that's required anytime you sell a house.
Mhm.
It gets taken care of.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions or discussion from the commission? Would anyone ready to entertain a motion?
Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, I recommend approval of SE 19-109 according to the staff's findings and the 4 conditions as stated by staff, providing for the restriction with the 50 acres of land. Declaration of restriction must be filed with registered deeds, along with the survey of the 18.08. And then the language of the Saline County Declaration of Restriction must be reviewed and approved by Saline County Councilor prior to filing of registered deeds.
Okay, we have a motion. Do I
I'll
have a
second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we approve SE 19-101 according to the findings from staff and conditions listed, which include providing a declaration of restriction showing the remaining 50 acres will be agriculture only. The subdivision restriction must be filed with the Register of Deeds along with the survey. Any change in the language to the Declaration of Deeds must be reviewed with the Saline County Councilor, and property owner may contact utility companies for easement, location, and setback. Okay, all in favor, please raise the right hand. Okay, motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Item 3, application SE 19-102.
This is a request for an approval of a transfer of development rights from a 307.5 acre tract of land to a 4-acre tract of land. Descending property is on the north side of Magnolia and west side of Donmeyer Road. The receiving property is located at an address of 6817 East Cloud Street, Saline. The owner of descending property is Charles William Waddle, and the receiving property owners are Pamela K. Evans. The applicant is Tom Evans. With this, basically, you have the application does meet the goals of the 2008 comprehensive plan for approval of rural development. The conditions of approval on this would be based on the acreage of the receiving property. No additional building rights would be allowed to be transferred to it in the future. Owner would need to contact one of the issues with the easement that AT&T had mentioned about. AT&T's location is business required from the easements. Staff is recommending approval of SE 16-101 according to staff findings 1 through 6 and conditions 2.
Okay. Any discussion from the commission or questions for staff? Seeing none, would the applicant wish to address us?
I'm Tom Evans. I'm the executor of Pam's estate, and with me is Charlie Waddle, who is transferring the development right. I have an interested party in that 60 acres with the pond, has been interested in it for a long time, but my wife and I aren't ready to sell our 20 acres with the house. So at this point in time, he'd like to buy the pond and everything, and in the case in 7 to 10 years when we're ready to sell and move to Kansas City where our grandkids are, then hopefully we can work that out so he'll end up with a house and 20 acres as well. So this may be a formality, but in case that doesn't happen, he would like to have a right to build on that property.
Okay. Any questions for the applicant? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other public discussion? Entertain any? Okay. I will bring it back to the commission. Questions, discussion, concerns? Do we have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make the motion, go ahead and accept it as written by the, or as determined by the staff.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we approve SE 16-101 according to staff findings 1 through 6 and conditions 1 and 2. Conditions being the acreage for the receiving property, no additional building rights will be allowed to be transferred in the future, and the owner would need to contact AT&T for location or for any easements in the area. Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor, raise the right hand. And motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Item number 4, application SE 19-103.
Okay, this is a request for approval of a subdivision exception to allow for a conveyance of 10 acres of land as a residential building site. The remaining 95.7 acres would be deed restricted. This is a request by John C. and K. E. Lindquist. The applicant is Brandon Lindquist, and it is located north of I-70, east of Brookville Road, in Section 34, Township 13 South, Range 5 West. As with the previous of these splits, the findings are the property is a legally conforming lot. No structures will be within the designated floodplain. This exception is consistent with the provisions of Article 13B, subsection 8, regarding subdivision exceptions. The comments from the various agencies are listed as well. It was pointed out that Post Rock Rural Water District number 1 has a 3-inch line in the southeast quarter of Section 1, and that they should contact the district for service when the time comes. And Saline County RFD number 3 said that maintaining Pleasant Hill Road for access to the property may be an issue in the future, but no other comments other than those 2 agencies. No public comments were expressed, and it is compliant with the comp plan. With that, the conditions of approval are to provide a declaration of restriction showing the remaining 95.7 acres of land to be used for agricultural use only. Prior to approval of the subdivision, the declaration of restrictions must be filed with the Register of Deeds along with the completed survey of 10 acres. Any change in language to the Saline County Declaration of Restrictions must be reviewed and approved by a Saline County counselor. Property owner may contact utility companies for easements, location, and setback requirements. Staff is recommending approval of SE 19-103 according to the findings.
Okay. Any discussion? Commission? I did have one question with regards to the rural fire department did have a question about the future of Pleasant Hill Road and its But it looks like the Road and Bridge had no concern with that, correct? No. Okay.
And Pleasant Hill is a gravel road to that point.
All right, would the applicant like to discuss this with us?
Good evening. Brandon Lindquist, 12324 West Stimmel Road, Brookville. So as I read through the same comments as you all have, the comment about the Pleasant Hill Road, as far as being a gravel road, was the only concern that I really saw here. It goes for, I'm going to say, another 200 or 250 yards past this, and there's a house on the other side of the road, and as far as, you know, the road conditions this winter were horrible. And
That's an understatement.
anyway, as far as getting over there to go into the pasture or to go get a bale of hay with the pickup or whatever, that road was actually better than most, I feel, because it was less traveled, because it's a dead-end road. And so, and I guess you guys have the survey, but the site is more or less on the highest point of that property and well out of the floodplain.
Okay. Any questions for the applicant from the commission?
So Brandon, are you looking at just building up on the high point there?
Yes.
Okay.
Brandon, is the Road and Bridge doing a pretty good job of keeping the aggregate on that road at this point?
Yes.
Even though with I know we've had the bad winter, but
they've made some changes in the not too long ago to their maintainer maps, I guess they call it, as far as which roads which maintainer does, because they were kind of hopping and skipping. You know, they'd stop going down this road and then go over a couple miles and catch these short pieces, and they changed those maybe 2 months ago.
Okay.
And now when it snows, they actually get there instead of, it's kind of easy to forget them, I think, is what the problem was. And
Especially for your road.
right. So, you know, I mean, being that we're the only one down there, it's, I understand it's not a priority, but they're doing a lot better job here lately.
good. That's good to hear.
Yeah.
Tried to get Neil to put Pleasant Hill all the way through, and he wouldn't do it. He gave me some lame excuse.
Yeah.
Any other questions or discussion from the commission for the applicant? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to say anything with this application? All right, I'll bring it back to the commission for discussion.
Mr. Chairman, I have no objections to this whatsoever. I make the motion that we approve this as written by staff.
Okay. Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we approve SE 19-103 according to the findings and conditions listed by staff, which include deed restricting the remaining 95.7 acres, the deed restriction or declaration restriction must be filed with the Register of Deeds along with the survey. Any change of language must be approved by the Saline County Councilor, and property owner may contact utility companies for easement, location, and setback requirements. All in favor, please show by the right hand. Again, motion passes unanimously. Thank you. All right. Moving on to item 5, application SE 19-104.
Okay, this is a, hang on, wrong one. Okay, this would be a request for approval of a subdivision exception to allow for the conveyance of approximately 13 acres of land with an existing residential structure. The remaining 85.29 acres would be deed restricted. It is located on the west side of South Reese Road between Waterwell and Schilling Roads. The applicant is Doug Lass and is also the owner. So with that, I will also give you the conditions as previously submitted to you. Conditions would be basically the same as before with the filing of the deed restriction, and also prior to approval of the subdivision, the declaration of restriction must be filed with the Register of Deeds along with the completed survey and any change of language to be approved by County Council. Staff is recommending approval of SE 19-104 according to the findings and conditions as submitted to you for consideration.
All right. Thank you. Bring it back to the commission. Any questions for staff?
I have none.
Okay. The applicant wish to speak to us?
I'm Doug Laws. I live at 3362 South Reese Road. And if you guys got any questions or...
Any questions from the commission?
It's going to stay agriculture. We're just combining the deal together.
Nope. Okay, thank you. Any other comment from the audience? All right, we'll bring it back to the commission.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve SE 19-104 according to staff findings and 3 conditions. Provide a declaration of restriction showing remaining 85.29 acres of land to be used for ag use only. Prior to approval of subdivision, the declaration of restriction must be filed with the Register of Deeds along with a completed survey, and then any change of language to the Saline County Declaration of Restrictions must be reviewed and approved by the Saline County Councilor prior to filing with the Register of Deeds.
Seconded.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve SE 19-104 according to the findings and conditions listed here. Number 1, provide a declaration of restriction showing the remaining 85.29 acres be used for agriculture use only. Prior to the approval of the subdivision, the restriction must be filed with the Register of Deeds along with the survey, and any change in the language to the Saline County Declaration of Restrictions must be reviewed and approved by the Saline County Councilor prior to filing with Register of Deeds. All those in favor, raise the right hand. Okay. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. All right. Well, that was our last item on the agenda. Staff, do you have anything for us tonight?
Just, I look forward to working with you guys in the future.
All right.
Anything on the horizon for next month? Because we want to know if we're taking 6 months off or not again.
Nothing so far. My question is, I wasn't sure when you all would be doing your election of officers. Do you do that in June? Or when? I just wanted to kind of, for housekeeping purposes.
It's been a while. Usually in March.
In March,
So
We'll take care of it next March.
we can certainly take care of it at the next meeting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good.
Okay. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I motion we adjourn.
Seconded.
Been moved and
I
seconded to
third.
adjourn. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All right, meeting adjourned. Thank you.